Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video I am going to be sharing with you how I colour my pages in the Disney Coloriage Mystère books. I've been asked this question so many times and I was asked a few months ago, and I'm really sorry I'm only just getting around to this video now. But yeah, I thought today I would work in the Disney Petit Betters. I'm not sure. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, this is an untouched book for me. It's a new book in my collection. I've only had this maybe 2 months. So yeah, this is an untouched book, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to pull this book out and yeah, get a page coloured in here. So I have selected a page, and what I've noticed in this one is that the line art is darker than in some of the other books like these, but that doesn't bother me at all. If anything, I think that's actually quite nice. Now usually in these books I use a variety of my Arteza black acrylic markers. I use these for the outline, and then I will use Crayola Super Tips, and then also I do have a variety of different acrylic paint markers. So I have these brush ones from Artex, which I absolutely love. I love these. I have some Tule art, but these have the chunkier nib, and I find these a little bit more difficult to work with. I have the Artex Simp Tap brush pens. They're pretty nice. So yeah, I've got all sorts to work with. Sometimes it might even be, and I know it sounds like I'm making more work for myself, but sometimes I will maybe put a base of, you know, water-based markers down and then go over with a paint marker. It varies, it depends page to page. But yeah, I thought we would work on this one. So I just thought I would show you my process. So what I usually do is start at number 1. We have our colour combination down here, our colour palette. And yeah, number 1 in these books is almost always black. So let me zoom you in. So what I do is I go through the page and I look for everywhere where there is a number 1. It didn't look like there was many on this page, but that's okay. And I can always go in and tidy up lines later if need be. Okay, so now we're looking at number 2. So number 2 is a really beautiful, I don't know if you can see it down here, really lovely pale blue. I know I don't have that. I don't think this one's going to be pale enough either. I do have some other Artex. That would work for number 3, but I need to find something paler for number 2. So let me go and grab my other markers. Okay, so I've just pulled over these Artex acrylic markers. Yeah, that's better. That's more of a paler blue. Can you see down here? So now we want to go in and look for the number 2s. Okay, so it looks like it's kind of like a line here. Because if you look closely, rather than colouring like every little section, if you look for like a group of the numbers together, you can find a bigger shape. So I normally do that, and then I outline with my marker as best as I can. I do now also have the Languo gel pens, so I could always tidy up some edges with those. I did use that technique on another colour by number page, and it worked really nicely, so I think they will be, you know, wonderful to use for some of the more fiddly areas. Okay, so I've got quite a lot of the number 2 to outline, so I'll quickly outline it, and then I will come back and just show you how I fill in the colour. Okay, so as you can see, I have outlined our character here, and sort of got all this big section of the number 2s outlined. I did mess up down here and here, but that's fine. I can fix those with paint pens, that is not a problem. So what I'm going to do is just really quickly show you how I will just sort of fill in a big area, but then I will speed this up just so that you're not sat just watching me, you know, colour this big vast open space of blue. So yeah, what I normally do, put my hand in the paint, I just start in a smaller section, and kind of like I do with my water-based markers, I try and keep my paint marker moving, and then if there's just like little bits I need to fill in, I do that as I go. I just try and keep it, you know, try and keep it consistent. And I know that it can be really tricky, especially with big areas like this. So I maybe didn't choose the best page, but I wanted to, you know, choose a page that wouldn't be too overwhelming for me to sit and try and do, you know, in one sitting with you guys here on camera. Obviously it won't all be filmed in real time. I will speed this up in places as well, otherwise this is going to be a really long and really boring video for you. But yeah, I just try and match the colours as best I can to the markers that I have. I feel like my water-based markers work better in smaller spaces. There is no way I would use a water-based marker to do this background. Not a chance. And if I couldn't match the colour, I would just use the next closest, you know, and just do it that way. So what I will do is speed this up, and then we'll come back and figure out our next colour. Okay, so the background is done. I have made a mess. Yeah, it wasn't as easy to try and keep the lines going in the big areas, especially because you might have been able to tell I had to keep shaking my marker. So yeah, I think that colour's on its way out as well, so it is a bit streaky, but it is fine. These books for me, they don't have to be a masterpiece. I just want them to be fun, but at the same time I do still want them to look nice. Okay, so number 3, we had picked out this colour here. I'm really sorry for moving the book. It's just quite difficult for me to see the numbers. Now these are some smaller fiddly areas. Let me just move you there. So I've got some number 3s down here. I'm really sorry if you can't see this very well. I struggle filming these kinds of videos where I sort of show you, like, you know, what I'm doing, especially if it's you know, pages like this where I normally get my face really close to the book, you know, just so I can see what I'm doing a bit better. Yeah, the nib on this isn't I love these pens, don't get me wrong, but the nibs kind of wear down pretty quick, so then you don't always get a nice crisp line. But like I said, I think with some of these thinner areas, some of these little fiddly bits, I do think I'm going to pull out my Langwell gel pens. Don't think I've got any number 3s over this side. Number 4 is, yeah, I think especially over here that is going to need to be a Langwell gel pen. Okay, so that was, I'm just going to keep out the colours that I've used. Sorry, so 2, 3, 4. Let's see. That isn't too bad. So we use this one down here. I'll have to get in with a Langwell gel pen on that bit. That's a bit too small. But you will see sort of at the end of the page how I just go around, try and tidy things up a little bit, you know, neaten up any lines and whatnot. That's a really pretty colour. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that bit either, so we'll just do these bits. I think you can probably tell by now this is going to be Hey Hey from Moana. Love that character. I just think he's so cute. So dopey. But I've got to love him. I just love these Artex pens. I wish they did them in a bigger set, because they are such a pleasure to work with. Looks like number 5 is a darker blue as well, but that looks like an outline. So again, I think I'll use a Langwell pen for that. Number 6. Let's see. This might be a bit too light of a green. I'm not sure what I've got in the way of tulle art colours. Let's see. It's a bit dark, but I'm gonna go with it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the chunky nibs on these. Don't get me wrong, they're beautiful pens. They're, you know, really opaque, but I just really struggle with the chunky nibs on these ones. I have got some sets of fine tipped ones saved in my wish list. And Connor and I were talking about this the other day, and I've said like what I might do is like every few months just get a set and build up my collection of tulle arts that way, but of the finer tip ones, because I feel like I've got, you know, a nice selection of paint markers now that, you know, they're fine for what I use them for. But I would really like the fine tip ones to get into like these fiddly little, you know, fiddly little bits. Yeah, now I've got number 6s over here. Like I said, I can't get right in to all the little bits, but I'll fix that with Langwell pens. I absolutely love these books. I find them so relaxing, and a great sort of palette cleanser between some, like, you know, more involved pages. I'm out of frame again, I'm so sorry. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm no good at the videos where it's like you zoom right in to try and get you a closer look as to what I'm doing. I'm absolutely useless at these kinds of videos. But I felt so bad that I still hadn't have got to this video. It's been on my radar to get done, but you know, life happens, things happen. But yeah, I didn't forget about it. So that's 7 there. Okay, so this is all 6 here. And then yeah, like I said, the Tule art pens, they're beautiful and the coverage is fantastic. I just struggle with the chunkier nibs. I just don't feel like I have as much control over these tips as the, you know, as some thinner markers. So if you guys have any of these books, which ones do you have and what do you enjoy using in them? As I've mentioned, for me it's, you know, acrylic paint pens, water-based markers. I've never tried pencils in these books, but I do want to. Excuse me, I do want to with the colour by number vitro, like stained glass book. I really do want to try pencil in that. Oh wait, oh, I've messed this up again. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I think pencil in that one would look lovely. I just think I would really struggle with my dexterity if I was to try and use pencils on these pages, because I would want to, you know, try and get a good solid block of colour down, and you know, because of having arthritis, I just don't have the strength in my hands to be able to put that amount of pressure on a page to get a good solid block of colour. Right, let's fix this bit. There. Never even know I messed up. Acrylic pens can be quite, you know, quite forgiving in that way, which is nice. And then I think we've got, yeah, we've got number 6 up here. So I will just get this leaf coloured and then we will come back. Okay, so that leaf is done. So I think what I might do, because you've kind of got a pretty good idea as to, you know, how I'm working on this, I think what I will do is work on this off camera and then come back when I'm tidying up lines and things and going in with the Langro gel pens. I hope that sounds all right. Yeah, I just feel like, you know, there isn't really an awful lot to show you. But yeah, let's see, actually might go in, yeah, I think some of these fiddly bits, they're going to have to be in water-based markers, so I will show you when it comes to that. But let's just, shall we do the eyes together? Let's see. Just trying to find a, okay, that's quite a nice match. Right, so let's just do Hey Hey's eyes a second. So again, I'll zoom you in. And like I said, this is a Crayola Super Tip that I'm using at the moment, just because I do want to have nice, clean, crisp lines. And the nice thing about using acrylic paint marker for your lines, for your black lines, as you can see here with Hey Hey's eyes, even though I'm bumping up against it, oh, I'm still putting my hand in paint, even though I'm bumping up against it with my water-based marker, that black acrylic paint pen isn't, it's not smudging. which I love, because before I sort of figured out, you know, using acrylic paint pens would be a good idea for the line art, I used to use I think it was Papermate Flair or something like that in black for the black outlines, but then when I would use my super tips and I'd push up against those lines, I would smear the black, and it would drive me crazy, absolutely crazy. So yeah. Let's see if I've got any little fiddly bits down here. I can do that in paint pen. Okay. So yeah, I will work on this off camera for a bit, and then we will come back and I will show you just how I go in and tidy up the line art and any places that I need to use water-based markers. All right, my loves, I will see you in a bit. Okay, so I just wanted to pop in and show you that I have had to use 2 Crayola Super Tips for these colours here, just because these spaces were really fiddly for me to get into. I am keeping track of my colours. If I just show you, I'm keeping it all in order here, just to the side of me. So, you know, if I miss a number, I can easily find what I was using and go back to it. But yeah, I'm just going to carry on with some paint pens now, and yeah, we'll make some progress on here and I'll check back in a sec. Okay, my loves, so this is how our page is looking so far. I'm really liking how it is turning out. I have pulled out a few Languo gel pens, and I have also got a Crayola Super Tip just to do the really pale grey sort of shadow here in Hey Hey's eyes. So let's do that. Yeah, I don't have any problem at all sort of mixing mediums on a page if I need to. Because I do find that there's just, you know, some mediums that just, you know, either, you know, they don't have the colour that I want in the set, or, you know, as was a good example with the thicker nibbed paint markers, sometimes they're just a bit too thick to get into like the little fiddly areas. And that's fine. Like I said, you know, I do still want my pages to look nice and I want to be happy with them, but these aren't going to go up in an art gallery. You know, I just colour them for enjoyment. So yeah, like I said, if I need to mix my mediums, then I'm happy to do that. What I do like to do is kind of go around the area that I need to fill with the colour. I like to outline it. I'm still getting my hand in wet paint. Ugh. The cat jumped on the desk just now, so I lifted up the book to move it out of his way and he brushed against it. So yeah, I've got a streak of like an orangey brown colour in the light blue skies. But you know, these things happen, it's fine. So let's just get this pale grey done. Okay. All right. So what I want to do now is go in with my lighter colour for the letters A on here. So I have pulled out a colour. This is from the Mirandi set with the blue label. And what I tend to do, I do, you know, cap my pens like this, but I seen, oh, who was it? I cannot remember. But someone said if you get like some blue tack, white tack or whatnot and sort of push it onto the end of your pen, it helps the ink flow from the nib and it is fantastic. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to move the camera rather than zoom you in and then move my head, because I think I would end up getting my head in the way. So I'm just going to go in around everywhere where we've got the letter A with this really lovely sort of ochre colour. And this is where, you know, I'll also sort of start tidying up lines and, you know, go around edges and stuff and just making things look neat and tidy. Langlo gel pens are beautiful. I would highly recommend them. I purchased my sets from Shein, but I do know that you can get them on Temu as well. But yeah, they're a gel pen, but they're kind of like the consistency of a paint pen, but with a really, really fine nib, which I love. Absolutely love it. So these are just perfect for getting in really close to those edges, getting a nice clean line. They do shine, sorry, they do dry with a bit of a shine to them, but again, it doesn't bother me. And I have been using these on so many of my colouring pages since I got them. They're wonderful. So where we've got this little bit here, I can follow the line right up like that, which I love. So what I am going to do is just go around and just finish the letter A on him down here, and then we will come in with the C, do some outlining, and just tidy up a few areas, and then we will be done. Okay, my loves, I will see you in a bit. Okay, so the letter A is all done. Now I would like to go in with C. I'm going to use this Langro gel pen. It is a bit of a different shade to the C that I've used in other places, but because this is a fine tip, this is what's going to work better for me, just to get into all these little fiddly places. Let me put this let's put that white tack on the top. It just helps the ink flow so much better. There, perfect. So I just need to keep an eye, because I know some of these lines are D's. So but yeah, I hope this video just sort of gives you an idea as to how I colour these pages. I do apologise again that it's taken me so long to get round to do this video. Okay, so it's down here as well. So whilst I'm here, it gives me a perfect opportunity then to get in, make some really nice neat lines and just tidy up you know, where the thicker tipped not alcohol markers, I'm so sorry, where the thicker tipped acrylic paint markers, you know, just they can't get into like these small fiddly areas. I've really enjoyed sitting and colouring this page with you today. I was in a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a colouring slump sort of the beginning of the month, but it seems to be picking up a bit now, which is good. Yeah, so as you can see, there's no rhyme or reason. Let's zoom in a little bit. There's no rhyme or reason to, you know, how I colour them. I tend to work in numerical order, and I leave out the pens and markers and whatever. I leave them out in the colour order, so that if I miss a bit, it's easy to find what I've used for that colour and just go back and fill in the bit that's been missed. So as you can see with the Lango gel pens, you can just really get in and tidy up that line art. And they have such a beautiful range of colours as well. They're really, really lovely. They are, you know, such a wonderful addition to my arsenal of colouring supplies, and I think it's fair to say I'd be kind of lost without them now, to be honest. I think they're definitely going to be a staple in my collection. And then if you feel like the ink isn't flowing as nicely, just move your blue tack or white tack, whatever it is you're using, just push it back on, and there you go, you get it flowing beautifully again. Apologies for the background noise. It was looking awful this morning. It had been raining overnight. It was looking really dull and dreary, but I'm so glad that the sun's come out and it's really brightened up beautifully, because my son Caden has his year 6 leavers, disco and barbecue at school this evening, so yeah, I'm glad the sun has come out for the kids for that. When I saw the weather this morning, I was like, oh no, they're supposed to have their barbecue. But yeah, the weather's clearing up really nicely. We had a heavy shower earlier, but you know, that didn't last long. So hopefully it stays nice like this for the rest of the day. So can you see how these pens just, you know, really allow you to get in and, you know, get into those really thin fiddly spaces, tidy up the line work. Yeah, I think these are just brilliant. Okay. So I think you've got a pretty good idea as to how I use these on the pages and, you know, how effective they can look. So what I am now going to do is just finish this page off screen. It won't take me too long, and then I'll come back, I'll show you how it looks, and yeah, we'll wrap up this video. All right, my loves, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, my loves, we are done. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Maybe a little bit later I will go around and paint the border just to cover, you know, where I've been swatching my colours and things down here. But yeah, and I hope if I lift it up you can see where I've gone in with a Languo gel pen. You know, managed to get some really nice crisp lines around here. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I hope that you have enjoyed this video and that you found it useful. It's by no means a tutorial. I was just asked to show how I colour the Disney colour by number pages, so I hope that this has helped you. Yeah, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, stay safe my loves, and I will see you in the next video. Lots of love. Bye.